Hello and welcome to RC Birds, and thanks for stopping by. As you can see, my Super Hot Shot is now completed and I like to show it to you in this video. So it's a little presentation about the car and I do some thoughts about the building or some things I saw in the build. As you can see, I didn't use all stickers. I think I'd said it in the video before. See this big red stripes, which are sitting normal here. And on the other side, I didn't put on because this is an effect color. And to get the effect right, I don't want to ruin it with some stickers. And for this effect, you need edges, corners, or this slightly curved things. So when you write C at the car, you can already, I hope it will be seen on the camera, that this is gold, this stripe is pink, here we have gold again, and so on and so on. So I put slightly amount of stickers on. Okay, the HotShot stickers have to be done. I'm not a big fan of sponsor stickers, so I leave all these out. For Tamiya cars, on the wings there is some kind of slogan written on the wings, or on many cars. We don't have this here. I hope Pulling for Racing isn't a sponsor sticker, so I put this slogan here at the side, as long as it's missing on the wing. Very interesting. This sticker area is made in 3 steps. First, you put this on right here in front of the cockpit, then on the sides, and then the red stripes are added, and for layer, the number is added on. The number 2 here, I had set a little bit to the rear, because there was a little mistake by the painting. And the sticker will really cover it up very good. If you are interested in the classical hot shot, I really recommend you the OAG channel from my friend Craig. I put a link in the description. Please check it out. He's doing awesome content. And just parallel to my build, he built the classical hot shot. Incomplete, the car looks very great. It is a really 80s style. And I even put it on, yeah, you can see better, these 2 metal antennas. They do not really make sense. Okay, in the older days with 27 or here in Germany 40 megahertz, you can use them, but you only need 1 antenna and not 2 antenna. But for symmetrical reasons, it looks very great. But keep in mind, each antenna weighs around 20 grams. So this is weight you really don't need if you want to drive fast. I'm not sure if I'm keeping these antennas. The disadvantage is my buggies are stored here at the wall in the 2nd row, and I need the space above for another model, or I have to put one buggy in the upper row, but I'm not so sure for it, and I don't know how these two antenna tubes or the weight of them will affect the driving. The big advantage of these antennas is that they hold the body at this point, some kind of extra, and here too. But also disadvantage, if you put the body off, it's a little bit more fiddlier. But we come to this in a few moments. So let me tell you something about the build. For this we are going backwards. The stickers were in a very good quality. I was really surprised. You know, sometimes Tamiya stickers were very hard, but these were good and just in the right thickness. And here we have body clips. You can put them out, and then the wing can lift it off complete. I think this is good in time of a crash, that you can really remove the whole thing and put on a new part. They had really made up their mind here. You don't have to cut this holes out. This wing is sits very stiff in here. This is great. This body clip is one of my personal. You got a smaller body clip in the kit, but for my fingers I need these big ones. And this body is only held by here and sits in these gaps, and is held by the shock mounts, and as I said, here with the antennas. So, and as I said, to protect the color, I put some electric tape here, where other parts might rub while I'm driving the car. So, this is the naked car, also without a body. This really looks nice. You can run it. On the front, we have a really long travel, which is necessary, absolutely necessary. I come later to it when I talk about the chassis construction. It's physical, really kind of nightmare. So here we get to the body. You have to put into these spacers. Without it, it's much too soft. And you don't want the car to sit on the ground. I had first mounted the power switch right down here, and as I put on the skid plate, I couldn't switch it. This here is some place for maintenance. This is good if you use Tamiya or some other kind of ESC. When you have to program it, you can always get to there at each time. Keep in mind when you build it that you don't get with your cables to the drive shaft. The battery box is a compromise. Here is the old battery box, which is mounted here on this pivot point, and one body clip here and one body clip here. They left this construction, and for the new battery change, you just skip off this holder. So Tamiya only left out one screw. I also added here this battery plug. So I don't have it that it wobble around or get at the wheels or something else. Same on this side. It's very organized. The roll cage is a little bit fiddly when you build it together. Not for the screws, but all with these zip ties where the roof is attached and this kind of net. The cutting out of the net was quite easy. I just fixed it with 2 fingers on the manual. Left side, right side are both the same. Hold it fixed. As you can see, here is nothing. And alongside here, I just, with the executor knife, cut it through these lines. That wasn't an issue. If you put the car together or the roll cage, just make sure that you put the stabilizer or attach the stabilizer to the roll cage. Otherwise, the stabilizer has no effect. It doesn't come out so clear in the manual. So, see it? You have here very thin curved arrows and 2 arrows where you can see that you have to pull up the roll cage to the rear so that you can fit in the stabilizer in these little notches. The battery box, although we have this plate here, doesn't really protect from dust. Here it's complete opened. Here underneath it's hard to see, but there is it open too. Here, if you see this red there is a servo saver, and there is a box open too. So it's not such a protection as you might think. And if it wasn't to put on or to fix the body, you don't even need this one. As good as the car looks, and I said before, a physical nightmare. Talking about absorbing energy after jumps, if you got some hits, this is not the best construction. You know, this part here is a chassis. The front gearbox is connected with 4 screws right through these damper mounts, and that was it. The AC box is screwed on with 6 screws on the chassis and has no structural integrity. Same as the battery door. There are two clips and this pivot point, with which incomplete gives no structure from the front to the rear if you hit the car and in the front. They reinforced it with this little skid plate at the front, but it's always also set here at the battery box with machine screws and not self-tapping screws. It's not optimal, not really optimal. The skid plate here is very good. If you run over some obstacles, the energy is better distributed along this skid plate and not going on some not so strong parts underneath the car. It's a good protection. Speaking of the rear gearbox, it's mounted with 1 and 2 machine screws, which means, it's hardly to show here, maybe here we can see it on this screw, that this is more kind of a loosen connection. The gearbox is held by the screws, but not really attached to this chassis. But it's really stable. I think many of the construction reinforcement comes with this roll cage, although it's a very soft material. And for this, I'm really optimistic that this car will really run good and doesn't take such as easy some damages like the Striker or what was the other car with problems, especially in the front. Don't want to say the wrong. The Falcon. The Falcon has some problems or issues with the construction of the front part and the connection to the chassis, because the screws are, the connection doesn't really fit. And for this, it's really good to have as many travel as you can get, and that even when the dampers are complete down, you don't hit the floor. But this should be enough. It's a great car, it's an iconic car, and at least I bought it. I like the design. As a child of the 80s, especially. And at this time, I really couldn't afford this car. And I'm really interested how it will run with this motor and the high upset of the pinion gear. And one big advantage, although it's a quite interesting construction, it is battery box or battery door. I'm always a fan of cars where I could put in the battery without opening or removing the body. See what I mean with a little bit fiddly? I don't want to ruin my paint job. Oh. Always press the body down when you're putting those clips on, so you don't ruin the stickers or the body. So, what are your thoughts about it or experience with this car? I'm really curious about it. If you got some questions, please write it down in the comments. If you like this video, please give a thumbs up. And it would really make me happy if you subscribe to my channel. This will really help me out. See you soon on AC Birds.